Good morning, good evening, and good night, everybody. My name is Sarah, and today we have a goals update. Now, I know I did the mid-year book freak out last week. Yeah, last week. I don't know when any of my videos are going up, honestly. But that is different from this goals update because, I made New Year's resolutions, and I actually tried to stick to them, and that does include my reading goal. And I figured I might as well talk about it because we're halfway through the year. I kind of want to see how far along I am and if I've reached any goals. So with that all being said, let's dive on in. Now, I kept all of my goals written down in this binder. This also serves as my just crafting journal, my forever journal, as one of my friends in class called it. But we're going to ignore most of this until the end of the year because I do want to go through it because I think it's pretty awesome. But let's just go through what I wrote down as my New Year's resolutions. My first resolution of the year was to find or at least work on finding a major. I have done that. Yay! I have left my computer programming / gaming major and switched in communications / marketing. It's like communications with an emphasis on advertisement. I don't really know how it's classified, but I'm doing it. I went off and declared it as my major, and now I'm taking classes for it. So that's good and all. I checkbox on that one. It might change by the next semester, but for now, it's what I have. Goal number 2 is maintaining my grades. I think I'm doing a pretty good job at that. The finals of my semester are coming up, so we're going to see if I pass all my classes, which shouldn't be too hard. I'm enjoying them, I'm liking them, but that's always a threat in the near future. So for now, it's left a box unempty because I still have another semester after this one, just to keep my grades up. We're skipping over the third goal because that's kind of a personal one for me, but the next one is to read half of my bookshelf. So when I wrote down this goal, I had 50 unread books. And my goal was to read at least 25 of them by half the year end, hopefully. And as you can tell, I have bought more books since then, but I have read so much. In fact, that goes into my next goal, which was my Goodreads reading challenge. And for the entire year, my goal was to read 70 books. It is July and I have read 80. So, I think I met the read 25 books, but I didn't quite get my TBR down to 25 books because I keep adding more because more things keep coming out and I want to read all of them. I know it's not possible, but I want to try. So, I've read 80 out of the 25 books I need to read. I did not get my bookshelf down to 25, but it's maintaining a steady pace. It's still 2 1/3 of a bookshelf. So I think, that works. Yeah. I still technically have 50 books on my TBR shelf. But the books keep changing. I keep going through new ones. So even if the number stays steady, it's constantly in motion. So hopefully, there's still a couple of books on here I have from last year, but hopefully I will get to those soon and it will just all be good. And I will have a completely new TBR from when last I made this goal. My final 2019 resolution was writing and working on outlining books. I am a huge writer. I love writing books. I love writing stories. And I'm really good at writing the synopsis, very specific scenes, character development. I suck at outlining. That's really something I wanted to work on, and so it was one of my resolutions to outline at least one book. So far, I've outlined 4. Not all of them I want to turn into full-length novels, but at least 2 of them I really do, and one of them I actually hope to get published one day. I don't know how close that day will come, but I fell in love with a couple of these stories, and I really do want to share them with the public. At the very least, make them online like Wattpad books. But I do kind of want to publish a book, even if it's just self-published. But, that seems like such a big goal, and I'm still in college, so that might need to be put off to the back burner for the next couple of years until I am the adult resolutions, because eventually that will come, and this binder will no longer be there to track my readings. So before I go into more Goodreads stuff, I do want to talk about what my resolutions are for the next half of the year, because I basically did all my resolutions for the entire year in the first half. Minus that one personal thing, still working on that. But for the next half of the year, I really do want to keep my bookshelf below the number 50. Currently, there's 47 unread books. A couple of these I do want to reread, the first Mistborn book. I don't remember too much of that plot, and so I really need to go reread that before I finish off with the trilogy. So, I want to at least get the books that I brought to school with me originally off of my shelf. I don't know how quickly that will be done, but I have these books for way too long, and if I don't read them soon, I don't know if I ever will read them. So when I first came to school, I took a picture of my original bookshelf. I only brought 8 books with me originally. Obviously, that number from 8 to 50, bit of a difference, but I just need to get the original 8 off my shelf. I've read like 4 of them already, I think. There are a couple of the books I still really need to get to, especially Meddling Kids. I bought this book because it was so pretty, and it's buried under a lot of stuff. I don't move my tarot cards and tiara and stuff, but I bought it because it was pretty, and it's like, what if Scooby-Doo, but like they've grown up now, and I haven't heard the best reviews on it, so I keep putting off reading it. But hopefully, by the end of the year, I will get to that one specific book and all the other ones on that original TBR. I really need to have a month where I go through and speed read all the books I think I won't like, just to get them off my shelf, or just to like correct me and say, oh no, this book is actually amazing. Again, I'm going to point back to Meddling Kids. Like, I've heard the humor in this is the kind that I like. I'm also so scared that it won't live up to my expectations because as we go back to the Everything Box problem, which honestly I feel like is just, if you guys weren't here for like the first review on my channel, the Everything Box is this book, which the first half of it I was in love with. I was ready to tell everyone to like read this book. It is amazing, it's funny, it's hilarious. And the second half of the book was so horrible. It is now just infamous. Like every time I see it, I'm like, this book is like, it's not good. It's just like, if I ever had the right to burn a book, it would be that one. And it's because it made me like it. And then it was so bad. And I think that's the worst. If you give me hope, it's automatically going to make whatever you do wrong so much worse. So I'm so scared Meddling Kids will be like that. And that seems to be a problem with a lot of the books I have and I have not read yet. I have hope for them. And that's the worst part. Like, don't give me hope, you guys. And that's my problem with most of these books. So I want to do a month where I read through all the things I'm like scared to read. And that way I can just get them off my shelf and I can move on to bigger and better things and the books I bought more recently, because I need to go through the cycle of cleaning off everything before buying new things. It needs to be done. Now for some more Goodreads stuff. This year hasn't been the best 5-star year for me. Like, there's a lot of great 4-star books. There's a lot of great 3-star books. I've kind of been DNFing anything I perceive to be under 3 stars, so I mean, beyond that, I don't know. But I haven't really found attachment to like a favorite book yet. I've been rereading a lot of Percy Jackson, and of course those are all 5 stars. Like, yes, everything that Rick writes is beautiful, it's amazing, but I haven't really found anything that's like, this is it. Beyond the things I talk about like a lot, like Shadow of the Fox, and then Six of Crows, like, those are beautiful, beautiful books, and I love them, but I feel like at the moment those are kind of my only, like, these are the best books of the year. And I need to grow that list, so hopefully that will continue in the next couple months of the year, because we are halfway through, and I feel like I've been lacking that this is the gold gem of the year kind of book. And I've also been doubting a lot of the reviews I give. Like, some books I'm like, oh, obviously, this is a 5-star, like Red, White, and Royal Blue. Like, of course, it's well written, it made me like the romance and politics, and I think it's such, like, a well-constructed book. But the more I think about it, the less I like it, and that's always a problem, because I like to review my books fairly quickly after I read them, because all the plot and story and, like, the structure is still in my mind, because I forget characters. Like, I straight up don't know the protagonist's name of most of the books I read, and that is a problem. So, like, I want to review them quickly, so I still know everything about the book, but the more I think about it, the more I'm like, one detail, or like this very specific scene, like, it could ruin a book for me if I dwell on it too long. And so, the example of Red, White, and Royal Blue, that one scene, which is totally a spoiler, and I cannot talk about it, completely drags the book down. Like, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, was it actually that good though? And that is bothering me, because I put Red, White, and Royal Blue on my favorites list. And so I really, for the next half of the year, I need to find a book that I love and I will not doubt. And I just need to stop doubting myself and stop changing my reviews, because these books deserve the 5 stars. I just need to make sure I don't backtrack on my opinion. There is also the small facts that I am moving at the end of this month. So there might be a couple videos in the near future where I don't have a proper background. That's just going to be the intermediate time between when I take everything down and when I set everything up again. I will be going back to California for a week during that time, so hopefully I can stockpile some videos there that will just it will ease the transition better, so you won't just have an empty wall behind me. Because I do like the setup I have back in California. It has good lighting, unlike this, which the window is here and I have a lamp here, and it's not the best. But hopefully that will change again, because I'm going to a completely new setup and I will be living with a person, which I don't know who they are yet. That's always great fun. But again, things are changing, things are moving. The new half of the year, my big goal is to settle and try to keep things normal, but also something new. So again, get things off my bookshelf, get new things on, continue reading, hopefully just start to enjoy reading more and just to not rush myself into making an opinion of a book. That's really my main goal for the next half of the year. And also maybe start working on a book. Again, I have a couple of them. This is one book, which I'm just in love with because I spent so much time with the characters, and I'm so worried that it will never translate right into the book. And I'm so scared that if I write it down, it won't be the world I imagine, and that seems to be a huge trouble with most of the books I want to write. Except for the silly one-off ones, I have this whole universe of superhero stories I want to write, and they're all completely and utterly ridiculous. I feel I need to start writing those just to get me comfortable with the idea of having other people read my writing before I delve into the stuff I'm these are my children, these are my loves, and that's gonna be my new goal. To write a book, figure out which book I want to write, and potentially have it released to the public. Who knows? Writing a book takes a lot of time, and that might need to be a 2-year thing, push it back, both this half of the year and also all of next year. But again, it's a goal. We don't have to reach it. It's just something to aim for in the hopes of the near future. So yeah, those are all my goals I have met so far and all the ones I'm making for the next half of the year. So thank you guys all so much for watching. If you like this kind of video and want me to do again next year or at the end of the year, please leave that down in the comment section down below. And while you're there, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And as always, good night, good evening, and good morning, everybody.